Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so excited you're joining me because today we're taking a pretty massive leap forward in how we think about design. We spend a ton of time creating personas, figuring out exactly who our user is. But here's the catch. Knowing who they are, that's really just the beginning. As creators, we urgently need to understand what they experience step by step. Like, where are they perfectly satisfied? And where are they ready to throw their phone across the room in frustration? Think about the last time an app drove you absolutely crazy, or a product felt like it literally read your mind. That difference is exactly what we're decoding today. So, to figure that out, we've got to map it out. We are exploring the seriously powerful tool known as user journey mapping. All right, so here's our agenda for today's explainer. First up, we'll define exactly what a user journey is. Then we'll break down the core elements of a journey map, run through an awesome e-learning example, check out applications across different design fields, and finally, turn user frustration into real opportunity. Let's get to it. Okay, let's dive right into this and tackle our very first section. What is a user journey? So, a user journey is the complete experience a person goes through while interacting with a design, product, service, or environment. I really want to emphasize that word complete. It's not just the split second they hit a buy button or hold a physical product in their hands. We're talking about their actions, their thoughts, their deeply felt emotions, the hurdles they face, and every single interaction along the way. A journey map, well, that's just the visual representation of this entire timeline. Honestly, it's the absolute best way for us to step out of our own shoes and see the design totally from the user's perspective. Without it, we're basically just guessing what people want. Now, why do we actually need this? Well, a lot of design problems are completely invisible if you're only looking at one isolated moment. Think about a standard flow: search, select, buy, and use. Imagine someone shopping online for the perfect kurta for Diwali. That experience doesn't just start when they wear it to the puja, right? The journey includes discovering the brand on Instagram, exploring styles on a mobile app, navigating what might be a super glitchy UPI payment gateway, tracking the courier, and then eventually posting a photo online. A drop-off or a point of major friction can happen at literally any of these stages. I mean, if the UPI payment fails, it doesn't matter how gorgeous that kurta is. Journey mapping just makes sure we don't miss those critical make-or-break moments. Now that we've got the why down, let's break down the how in Section 2, Elements of a Journey Map. Let's look at the actual building blocks. A standard journey map usually includes these 5 foundational elements. First, the stages. These are the high-level steps of the experience, like our search, select, buy, use example. Second, user actions. What are they physically doing right now? Are they scrolling, typing in details? Third, we have thoughts, which is basically their internal monologue. Fourth, emotions. How are they feeling? Happy, confused, frustrated? And finally, the 5th element, which honestly is arguably the most important: pain points. Where exactly are they struggling? Mapping all 5 of these gives you this incredibly complete psychological and physical profile of the interaction. And this brilliantly illustrates that thoughts element we were just talking about. Is this product worth the price? Capturing these silent internal monologues is absolutely crucial. Think about it. If you know your user is pausing at checkout, silently worrying about the price, you know exactly where to intervene. Maybe you need to pull up customer reviews or really highlight the premium materials right there on the checkout screen to reassure them. You just can't fix a problem if you don't even know the user is secretly stressing about it. Let's make this totally concrete by plugging these elements into a scenario we're probably all pretty familiar with. Section 3, the e-learning journey. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it tracks the emotional roller coaster of a student. Picture a student here in India, logging on to upskill for a new tech job using their smartphone. In that first stage, finding a course, their thought is this suitable for me? Their emotion? Super curious. They're motivated. But as they get deeper into the experience, things shift. When they hit watching lessons, boom, they hit a massive pain point. Maybe the videos are buffering, the interface is cluttered, and it's practically impossible to find the next module on a tiny mobile screen. Their emotion drops instantly from curious to incredibly frustrated. By mapping this out, we realize that if we don't fix that mobile navigation right now, that student is going to drop out long before they ever get the satisfaction of finishing. Now, you might be thinking this is just for apps and websites, right? Not at all. Let's pivot to Section 4, Applications Across Design Fields. This exact human-centered approach applies universally. In UI/UX design, sure, we're mapping digital interactions, like making sure your favorite food delivery app gets you from craving biryani to actually eating it with zero friction. But look at interior design. When designing for large, multi-generational Indian families living under one roof, designers use these maps to understand how everyone shares the space throughout the day, from the morning rush to quiet evenings. Or service design. Think about the totally complex journey of booking an IRCTC train ticket for a summer vacation. You are mapping the whole shebang, the first search for seats, the frantic tactile booking window, waiting on the crowded platform, and finally boarding. Different fields, exact same framework. So we've mapped the highs and the lows. But what do we actually do with those lows? That brings us to Section 5, turning frustration into opportunity. So the crucial point is this, and it's a huge aha moment. The most valuable part of a journey map isn't mapping the perfect moments. It's really not about the times when everything works flawlessly. The true gold lies in the difficult moments. Every single frustration, every point of confusion, every bottleneck. These aren't failures. They are at the exact pinpointed design opportunities. This is exactly where you step in to provide immense value and literally transform a mediocre experience into an unforgettable one. Ultimately, every time you look at a user journey map and spot a pain point, you've got to ask yourself, how can this experience become easier, smoother, and better? User journey mapping is what seamlessly connects your research directly with impactful action. Great design isn't just about creating a static product. It's about designing the entire living experience around it. Keep that in mind the next time you create anything for another human being. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it completely changes how you look at the user experience.